What's good, y'all? Back again, another day. Got another video in the car. I'm actually headed to my boy Frog's house to drop off this Hello Fresh that we weren't going to eat. As you can see, we got it packed up on the side. I am tripping. Put on my seatbelt. Safety first. So, knock that out. But anyways, like I said, I was going to my homeboy Frog's house to drop off this food. Make sure that they eat good. Because I don't eat it, so might as well give it to somebody so it don't go to waste. Otherwise, it's just going to go in the trash, and I really have a problem throwing away food. So, about to make that move and drop that off. But, of course, just want to holler at y'all, chop it up for a bit. When I ride, I think, and when I think, I gotta get those thoughts out. So, I don't know, just always make sure that, whatever you want to do, you're always honest and upfront about your intentions, and you always try to do what you feel is right and what you know is best, and just kind of go from there. Every decision that you make isn't going to be the right one. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Everything isn't always going to be perfect. Everything isn't always going to be peaches and cream. You look at Tommy and I, we laugh and we joke and we have fun, but everything isn't always perfect with us either. But, we always choose each other every day, and that's how we've been able to make it this long and this far. So I always say, if you're in a relationship with somebody, then you always want to choose that person and make sure that it's reciprocal. That person chooses you as well, because it's a symbiotic relationship, meaning that both of you feed off of each other. In areas that I'm weak in, Tommy may be strong in, and areas that Tommy's weak in, I try to be strong in, and we give to one another instead of a parasitic relationship where I'm taking and not giving anything, or she's taking and not giving anything. We always try to stay focused and grounded on that, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but you take that risk and you see what happens, and then you go from there. A lot of people will tell you these fairy tales and always sell you dreams about fantasies and things, but it's never simple. It's always more than what you see. I like to watch a lot of car videos on YouTube, and they talk about the nice fancy cars that they have, but the real ones also show you what happened when those cars break down. Everybody thinks you want a car, but they don't tell you about the maintenance, the insurance, the taxes. If the doggone brakes go bad, you got to get them replaced, and that costs money. If you have a luxury car, then the money it costs is through the roof. And I know because I had a BMW, and granted, BMW isn't the most luxurious of cars, but it is considered a luxury car. I know because I had to pay luxury insurance on it. Same with the Lincoln Navigator. So yeah, it looks nice, it's cool, it gathers attention, but you always got to remember the upkeep and the maintenance of those things cost too. It's not just the car itself, because if you buy the car but you can't afford to keep it up and running, then the car is going to sit. And nobody wants a car that they can't use. So you always got to keep in mind that whatever you ask for, you'll get. But there's maintenance that comes with it, and you have to be able to maintain and upkeep that maintenance to make sure that it runs and it functions the way that it's supposed to. And that's with relationships, with dating, it's with anything you ask for. A house. A lot of people say that they want to own homes or they want to get into real estate, but what they don't understand is you don't just make a lot of money in real estate. There's times where you take L's and you lose a lot of money. You get a tenant that, if you're a landlord and you get a tenant and the tenant trashes your place and moves out, now you don't have rent coming in to cover the cost to get it fixed. You gotta probably take them to court, which costs money as well. You gotta fix it back up, which costs money. You're still responsible for the taxes and insurance on the home, and if you have a mortgage, you're still responsible for that. So you always want to be careful what you ask for, and always make sure that you're in a position to take care of the things that you ask for. A lot of people say that they want women or they want a man but you got to be able to take care of a woman or a man, whether you're in a relationship or not. Because even if you're dating or you're dating multiple women, you still have to take care of those women. And care doesn't mean tricking off or any of that stuff. Care simply means you have to spend that time. You have to give them that attention. You have to be available and present for those women. Otherwise, they'll find somebody else. So you always want to make sure that you're in a position to take care of anything that you ask for. And time tells, if you don't, because you can get a lot of things. It's nice to have things, and it's nice to say that you owned it, but can you keep it? Can you maintain it? Can you hold it over time and make sure that it grows and you add value and not take away from it? And that's what you always want to do. So that's, something that's heavy on my mind. And, today isn't one of my best days mentally. I'm kind of going through it right now, but, there's nothing that's going to stop me from recording or staying consistent or, I'm not miserable or anything like that, but I'm just in deep thought. So, and usually when I'm in these types of moods or in these feelings, then I won't post. These are the times where the consistency breaks down and I stop or I disappear because I'm not in a good mood or I'm not happy. So I don't post until I feel better or my circumstances change or whatever I'm in, I'm not in. But I said this time I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to give it a serious run. I'm going to make sure that I get this information out to people because you never know who it helps. And then, like I said, to be completely honest, I'm very competitive. And I look at these other people and I look at their quality and I look at what they're doing and I look at the information that they're giving and they're not really saying anything. So based on my experiences and what I've been through and my circumstances, I'm like, I can do that and I can help people and I can, with my information, and there's no cap. Like, I'm not sitting up here acting like I'm driving fancy sports cars or we doing XYZ every day. It's just regular days. We just chilling, walking houses, having meetings, going places, living life. And then there's a message in that as well. It's okay to be where you are as long as you know that you're growing, as long as you know you have a game plan, you have a vision, you have a purpose, you have a mission. A lot of people show you where they are once they get to the top, but they don't show you what they did to get there, or they don't tell you what they did to get there. And to a certain degree, I understand it because you have to have proprietary information. There has to be certain things that you can't share with everybody. People still don't know what the secret ingredient of Coca-Cola is. People still don't know what the 11 herbs and spices are from KFC. Because if they did, they duplicated, replicated, and then you never have the same thing that you get when you go to KFC. Everybody has their own thing, so I understand that. But at the same time, you got to be vulnerable and you got to show the truth. All these, especially today, in this generation that we live in, you can only cap for so long. There's only so long you can fake. There's only so long you can front and flex before the reality comes out. So, like I said, I know my day is coming. Somebody's going to dig up some old dirt to try to tear me down. Or there may be something that I did where I didn't make the right decision and I did something foolish. And somebody's going to use it to try to tear me down or bring me apart. It happens to everybody. You look at anybody that's great, they've been going through things. And I say these things now because I know it's coming. I see where I'm going. I know my trajectory. I know why I'm here. So I know what comes along with that. When you're on a mission, when you're on a purpose, when you're going after it, there's always going to be people that criticize and ridicule you. But you just got to be ready for it and you got to deal with it. And you got to stay focused on the vision and why you do what you do. And honestly, my intentions are pure. Don't get it twisted. I am going to make money. Like, at that, I don't know what else to say. We live in a society where you got to make money. So I am seeking profit. I am going to make money. I have strategies in place to make sure that this brand grows and that we monetize it and we have things that generate income. But at the same time, I'm providing service. I'm not just taking. I'm giving you seeds. I'm giving you game. I'm giving you experiences with the hopes that you don't have to learn things the way that I learned things. You don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. You can make your own mistakes, but you don't have to make the exact same mistakes that I made. You can look and learn from Curtis did that, and he put it on YouTube so everybody can see it. He tried an experiment, and it blew up in his face. I know not to do that experiment. Or if I do that experiment, I know what's going to happen, and I know the risk, and I'm going to do it anyway with full understanding of what's going to happen. And maybe it may work out for you differently than it worked out for me, but at least you'll know what to expect and you see it firsthand, what's possible. If you know, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And so that's it for now, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to chop it up with y'all. I may add some more to this video, or this could be it. I got a couple things that I need to work on today, and like I said, it's not my best mental health day. I'm just really deep in thought, and I get lost in my mind sometimes, and I just have to kind of de-escalate myself and figure out ways to just balance out and mellow out. So we'll see, but if not, then hopefully this information that I gave you in this video is something that you can use and you can apply, and it makes your day better, it makes your week better. Maybe it's just hearing somebody's voice that has the best intentions for you, and it makes you feel like you're not alone. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just hoping that it adds some value to somebody in some way today. Alright? Just thought about it. I do have some more stuff I want to talk about. Like this week here at the recording of this video, we had a lot of tragedy going on with Young Dolph getting killed, as well as Kyle Rittenhouse, getting acquitted of all charges. And so, it's a tough time for Black America as a whole, but when is it not a tough time for Black America? A lot of times Black people get complacent and they get comfortable and they forget where we are, and we don't know who we are, so we don't understand why things happen, or we're shocked, or we're surprised, or we get outraged and go into uproar when these types of things happen, when these things have always been happening. It's just they don't come into our attention until it's something drastic or major that happens. So really quick, I wanted to touch on the Young Dolph situation. I don't know any of the details. I just know what we all know, that he was killed. And to that I say, a lot of us as Black men and Black people, we have this fixation with the streets. And, the streets are not the easiest thing to get into, but definitely not the easiest thing to get out of whatsoever. Now, let me preface by saying I am not a street guy at all. I never have been. I have never been to jail, and I plan on never going to jail. But at the same time, I've been around a lot of people that have lived that life, and they've been in those types of situations, circumstances, and experiences. And most of them, the ones that have sense, are trying to get away from it because they understand that there is an expiration date on their time in the streets. The streets have a ceiling. There's only but so high you can go before something happens, and it's only a matter of time. It's a numbers game. Any day it can be your day, and it can be something simple. Maybe you left your phone, you go back, and boom, somebody got you. So you just always want to be mindful as a Black man that the goal is to get out of your situation and to get into a better situation. And when you get into a better situation, you got to try to distance yourself from past situations. And of course, people are going to say you changed up, or you brand new, or you scared, or you can't go back home. But home is a trap, because home was designed to be that way. Make no mistake. Black people in those communities and in those areas didn't just trip and fall their way there. There's pipelines that were designed and created for those people to railroad them down those paths. So once they get you in the system, that's why it's so hard to get out. And a lot of times we don't get the same grace period, or we don't get the chance to make mistakes and learn from them the way a Kyle Rittenhouse would. He was able to do what he did, and he gets to live the rest of his life scot-free with the knowledge of the actions that he did. Yeah, he killed 2 people, but he's a kid, so it gets swept under the rug when you have plenty of Black men that have killed people in self-defense, and somehow it didn't come out to be the same. We know that the justice system is unequal, and there's statistics and data to prove that. It's not hidden information, it's not conspiracy theory, it's fact, it's known. We know that. So, we all understand some of us may not be willing to admit it. Some of us want to live life and pretend like it's not the situation that it's in. But we have to be real and understand that we as black people in America are a subjugated people. And yeah, we can have cell phones, we can make YouTube videos, we can do all of this and that, but we have so many things that are set up to go against us that we can't sit here and ignore them. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities that are open and afforded to us that we didn't have access to 20, 30, 50, 100 years ago, but that doesn't negate the inequalities that we still have to face and we still have to deal with. So with that being said, everybody should have a plan, or they should sit down and figure out what they want to do for their life and what steps they need to take to get there. And if you're honest with yourself and it's real with yourself, and you're real with yourself, it's going to cause you to be uncomfortable, because you're going to have to do some things that you're not used to. You're going to have to learn some things that you don't know. You're going to have to humble yourself and talk to people that you probably wouldn't normally talk to, because they have access to information that you don't, and they can help you get to the next level. So those are things that we have to be thinking about, we have to talk about, and we have to understand, so that we can progress and advance to the next levels and do what we need to do, so that way we can extend our lives and we can make sure that our quality of life is improved as we matriculate through our time here in America. So, I won't get too deep. I won't pull up history and go over facts. I have plenty of old videos in which I did that, and you can go check those out. But, we have to understand who we are, where we came from, and what we're dealing with before we can figure out how we need to move forward. And for those of us that do have that information, we do know and we understand, then we have to try to help those that don't, and do what we can to make sure that they level up and they improve their circumstances. Because one black person with a lot of money doesn't help everybody. But if you have 5, 10, 100, 100,000, it doesn't take a lot, but it takes enough people that are educated in their wisdom, and they have wisdom to where they can actually speak to people that are down and bring them up. There's a certain group of people that will never ever listen to me no matter what I say, because I don't come from that life. Like I said, I've never been a street dude, I've never been a thug, I've never been a gangster, I've never been none of that. I've never sold drugs. I can't even tell you what crack looks like. I've never seen it. So those type of people, there's a chance that they may never listen to me because we can't relate and I don't identify to them. I can't speak to their experience. But overall, being a black person in America, even though I've never done any of those things, we're all starting off with the same obstacle stacked against us. Now, I may have started off at level -5, where I wasn't in the projects or in the hood or anything like that, but I'm negative level 3. I'm still a black person. I still have curly hair. I still have, all of that stuff. So I don't get to start off at 0. See, what a lot of people don't understand about white supremacy and racism is that, white people have the chance to start off at 0 with a clean slate. They can do whatever they want, and they start off at 0. No strikes against them whatsoever. They have opportunities afforded to them that most of us have never heard of. A lot of us start off in the negative. Well, all of us as black people start off in the negatives because we have one strike against us being black. So with that being said, and like I said, people can pretend and act like it doesn't exist and it's not real, but it is, because we don't control a lot of the industry. We don't control economies. We don't control a lot of things. So we have to reach out to people that do control these things. And the people that control these things don't look like us. And the reason they don't look like us isn't because we're inferior or we can't do these things. It's because the system is built. There has to be somebody that is a consumer class. There has to be people that, in order for you to win, somebody else has to lose. Unfortunately, that's the system that we're in. And so there has to be a group of people that are just written off, that don't have a chance no matter what you do, that are just determined to fail. And if they do succeed, then they beat the odds. But an overall majority of these people don't have the same opportunities. They don't have the same chances. So, you have white people that start off at 0 with a clean slate. But what a lot of people don't understand is that you have white people that start off at level 5. Their dad and mom were lawyers. They had networks, they had connections, they had opportunity, they had access to capital. You have white people that start off at level 10. Their parents were billionaires, their grandparents were billionaires. So, it's very hard for them to fail because they've had so many legs up and they've had so many advances. And black people were finally starting to get to a point where you see some people are able to start off at -1 because they still have that strike against them that they're black, but they have relationships, they have networks, they have access to capital. And if you look at them, they still have to deal with it. Like, you look at Oprah a couple years ago, or maybe it was longer than that, but when she went to the store somewhere out of the country and they wouldn't let her in because they didn't know she was Oprah. Or just the other day, Jay-Z was talking about how even though he's a billionaire, he still experiences racism. Kanye, say what you want about him, but he's always talking about the racism that he experiences along with the many other different things. So we have to understand those things, and we have to be able to know how to navigate those things in order to advance and do what we have to do. So on that note, I think I got everything out. I just didn't want to leave anything. So we may just cut this one here, and I'll see you guys later, or I may see you tomorrow. Take care.